This is Sylvia Bolivar with the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Thank you for joining us for the Max.gov webinar. This webinar is being co-hosted by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and the Corporation for National and Community Service. A huge thank you to CNCS for their time and effort to make these webinars possible. We will begin this session with a demonstration by Juan Rodriguez with the Max.gov team. He will provide a demonstration on how to navigate Max.gov in order for you to be able to receive a link to access the application. Once the demonstration is completed, we will do a question and answer session. We will review the questions that are submitted through the chat function. Once the webinar is completed, if you still have additional questions, please email us at promozone@hud.gov. And more information is also available at www.hud.gov/promozones. This webinar is going to be archived and posted on our website. Thank you. With that, we will have Juan Rodriguez begin the demonstration.
Thank you, Sylvia. So first off, I want to start and go through the process with all potential applicants on what they would have to do step by step in order to receive their application and hopefully submit it. The first thing to do is go to www.hud.gov/promozones, and it will take you to this hud.gov website that's dedicated specifically to promozones. On here, it will give you a little bit more information about the program, and what's most importantly is this link right here on the screen where the pointer's indicating. This Max survey link will take you a link to the specific Max survey, to the letter of intent / registration survey for the urban or rural and tribal application. Once you go ahead and click this link, it'll take you to the letter of intent second round promozone. And what's important to note here is even after you see there's a deadline of October 17th on here to complete the letter of intent, after this you can still register through this same application in order to receive either your urban or your rural and tribal promozones application. So again, it's important to note that there is no timeline to submit your registration form. It's just important to know that all applications, so not this particular survey, but what you will receive after this, must be completed by November 21st. Now, once you arrive at this page from this previous HUD page, you're going to click Next, and you're going to submit all the pertinent information on here, which is basically contact information in order for you to receive the specific link to your urban or rural and tribal application. Within this link, it will be what's considered a token. So a token is a specific link pertaining to the information that we have received through this letter of intent or registration application. So every application is individualized to the specific person it's sent to. Now, once you put in all your information and you indicate which promozones application you'll be requesting, and what's most importantly, you've put in your first name, last name, and email address more than anything, and you have to make sure that your email address is correct on here in order for you to receive the application. Once you have done all this, you will go ahead and click Submit, and when you click Submit, it will say, "Thank you, your survey responses have been recorded." This is how you will know that your survey response has been recorded, and that's how you will know that our team is working on between 24 to 48 hours to give you or send you an email with your specific link that will take you to your proper application. Now, I want to show you guys the basic layout of an urban or rural and tribal promozone application. The applications are very similar. The wording of the questions are different. Some of the questions are different, but the structure of the application itself is very similar, so it doesn't matter which one I will show you today. Once you have received the link, which will come to you in email, it will say to take your survey, click on this URL or click on this link, and right below it, it will have the link to the specific survey. Now, there's been some issues with some that can't click on the link itself from the email. You can either copy and paste the link into your browser, or you can go ahead and email me at Juan_C_Rodriguez@omb.eop.gov. If you still you can't click on the link and it takes you nowhere. I will look up your specific token and I'll send you a separate link that will take you to this application as well. Now, once you have received your email, like I said, and you've clicked on the link, it will take you to a particular application, whether it be your urban promise zone or your rural and tribal promise zone application. Once you have done that, and it will take you to this main landing page, similar to the letter of intent or registration that you saw the previous screen. You would just click. You would read through this information that gives you a good amount of technical notes and information about the deadline of the application, and then you're going to click next. Once you click next, you're ready to start going through and filling out and completing your actual application. A couple good things to note: you have your progress bar up here all the way at the top, so you can keep track of your progress throughout the application. You will also have help sections at various of the specific questions throughout the application that tell you to go ahead and check on the application guide for the Promise Zones application, and tells you exactly which page to look at if you're confused about a certain question. Obviously, if there's any more questions about the content or policy of the application, please go ahead and email promisezones@hud.gov. My email, Juan_C_Rodriguez@omb.eop.gov, is specific technical issues with the Max survey application. Now, once you have filled out all your information, I'm just going to show you on this first page. You can go ahead and either click next or go to the previous page. You could also, what's great about this Max survey application is that you can go ahead and resume your application later. So for example, you say you only want to do section 1 today. You do section 1, you click resume later, and you can go back and your responses will be saved there. You can also exit or clear the survey at any time. Now, what's more important down here all the way at the bottom is you have a question index that goes through each single parts of the application itself, and you can jump to various parts of the application that way as well. That way you don't have to keep on clicking next or previous on here as well. You will also have there are a couple questions that will have upload file types. Now for these, you just click upload files. It'll tell you which specific files are supported, which are pretty much everything from Excel, PDF, or different doc or docx Word documents. You select your file from your computer, you select it, and then it will give you an option to press done, and you'll return back to the survey to finish it. Now those are pretty much the basis of a lot of this application. The last thing I wanted to show you all is this last submission page. So once you have submitted everything, you will receive an email. It says you will receive an email confirmation that your application was received, and you will. If you did not receive an email, feel free to go ahead and email me. Again, my email is Juan_C_Rodriguez@omb.eop.gov. Once you go ahead and email me, I can go ahead and check to see if we have received your application indeed. The last thing you will do is click submit, and that same gray box will show up to show you that your application was submitted. Those are the basics of the application and the process you will go through. Between going to HUD, remember the steps are to go to hud.gov/promisezones, click on the Max survey link, fill out your letter of intent or registration application. You will then receive a specific link that will take you to the urban or rural and tribal application. You fill out your application and you click submit. Those are the basic steps on how to complete your urban or Promise Zones application. Now, a couple of things I wanted to go through, and based on some of the webinar questions that we have received. We had some questions on the upload files, if they can be on different sizes. There is no specific restriction on the number of sizes. However, I believe there are page limits. So I would definitely refer back to the application guide for the additional page limits on some of the attachments that you will be given. Are there character limits for specific answers? And the question is yes. There are character limits for specific questions. and you will see there within the question itself that it will state that there is a character limit, and spaces are included within that. A great way to know, and this is just good practice for all participants to know, is it's good for you to do your actual application, for example, your responses within Word. And within Word, you'll be able to keep track of your character limits, and you'll also be able to save your responses. Just in case for anything happens, you'll have that as a backup in order for your own personal sanity. Can any applicant register to create an application to Max.gov? Yes, even though Max.gov is a site and is a suite of applications for a federal government. These applications working through HUD are open to all state and local and tribal entities, so you should have no problem. You do not have to register for a Max account. I'll repeat that again. You do not have to register for a Max account. All you have to do is follow these links that are on the Promise Zone's website and the link that will be emailed to you to the specific application. You do not have to register for a Max.gov account. The only letter of intent, and I know sometimes we've received several questions that there actually has to be a letter with the letter of intent. No, like I said, even after this date, since the date has passed, it's gone from an intent to more of a registration. So you do need to register in order to receive your application itself. We also had questions on being able to export your application or be able to export a part of a PDF that you've uploaded. There's no way for us to do that. If you wanted to go ahead and email promisezones at HUD.gov, again, to ensure that the application was received, etc., you can do that. However, like I said before, it's best for you to go through in a Word document and save all your responses just in case, in order for you to have that as a backup. And then we also received the cut and paste capability from Word onto the actual survey. What it does, it reverts everything to plain text. So if you have bolding, if you have spacing, that's fine. However, if you have custom formatting, whether it be indentations or any type of custom formatting like that, it'll probably strip them. You might have to reformat it on the actual survey itself. We also have a lot of questions on what exactly is a token. And a token is essentially think of it as your password to get into the application that allows you to submit it. And it's both for security and safety and for you to be able to go back and resume your application at a later date. That's why you either click on the specific link that's emailed to you and that email is only sent to you, or you can go ahead and email me and I'll send you your particular token. Like I said before, spaces, commas, periods, characters, they all count against the character limit, so make sure you're wary of that and you test out your character limit in a Word document. If you copy and paste from a Word document onto the actual survey application and we see that and it notes that you're over the character limit, it will only copy and paste up to the amount of the character limit. So if you have things that go over, it won't transfer over. Now, again, we also have more information about printing the information in Max Survey. Like I said before, please go ahead and do everything in Word as this is best practice for you to save everything, and then you can copy and paste it over. And then we also had questions regarding members within a group doing the application at the same time. And my advice to that, and for example, all you need to do is email out that specific link that's given to you, or get that specific token that I email you if you did not receive that. You can go ahead and send that to whoever you want, and as long as they have access to that link or that token, anyone can go ahead and fill out this application. So multiple people can work on this application, yes. However, I do advise against going into the application and filling it out simultaneously. The reason for that being is that part of your work might not be saved. If two people are saving it at the same time, you may run into issues with that. So either email your responses to one person and one person submits the application as a whole, or you time out the time that you are working on the application so that there's no more than one person working on the application at the same time. Those are some of the major questions that we have at the webinar, but like I said before, if there's any policy questions or specific questions relating to the Promise Zones process, please email promisezones@hud.gov. If there's any technical Max survey questions, please email me at juan_c_rodriguez@omb.eop.gov.
So to recap, and Juan, can you go to the website? To recap, the application deadline is November 21st at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and you will need a link to access the application, and you will receive your individualized link from Max.gov. If you have technical glitches and you're having issues and you do not receive your personal individualized link to access the application, email us at promisezone@hud.gov, and we will work with Juan to make sure that you receive that as soon as possible. We recommend that you go ahead and request the link sooner rather than later, because the last thing you want to do is work on the application and then wait until November 20th or 21st to request the link. We have hundreds of stakeholders who have expressed interest in the initiative for the second round, and we want to make sure that that you have all you need in order to submit your application. And again, if you go to the hud.gov/PromiseZone site and look under PromiseZone application material, you will see where it says right after the application checklist, you will see application can be accessed by going to Max Survey. And you click on the Max Survey in order to get to your letter of intent. At this point now, it is your registration. So that is where you need to go in order to get your individualized password. And if you have any additional questions, please email us, and we look forward to receiving your applications and hearing about your plans and goals for your communities. Thank you very much.